Hi Scott. So obviously you just had the press conference and the first few matches for Bellator London on the 22nd of June have been announced. Firstly, how excited are you to be coming back to London after the last outing here?
Yeah, I mean, London is important for Bellator. It's important for Viacom. It's a city that personally I love being here. It's exciting, it's vibrant. It's just a very special place. And when I think back about how we got to this point, it's really we did a show called The British Invasion back about 3 years ago. It was Paul Daly, MVP. It had Linton Vassell, Liam McGeary. So we had a great amount of talent, and that's how this all started. It was like, look at how much talent's over there. I mean, some of our biggest stars are from the UK, and surrounding London areas, and we're looking for the next big star, and the next big star, and doing our commitment to doing the fights here in the local time frame. Having local talent fight. Part of that is to find the next superstar, from this region.
And you spoke earlier on about the TV deals that are in place in terms of partnering with Channel 5 and things. I know there's been criticism previously on the European cards about not being able to watch it live across the local time zone and everything else. Are you hoping that this event passes well in that regard and that the local fans will be able to tune in and watch their homegrown heroes perform?
I will say this, the media especially has given me such a hard time for years, right? Just, taking it to us. And I'm like, okay. We're working on it. So 2 years later, here we are. Now they have, come on, you get to watch it live. And it's going to be on Channel 5, which is terrestrial television.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you can't. Now it should go the other way. The Bellator is doing such a great job, and, we're on terrestrial television. And you don't have to find it online or watch it on a tape delay, because Sky Sports will be live for the hour, and then Channel 5 will be live. I mean, that is amazing distribution here in the UK. Better than any other MMA league, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's especially, I think, good because it's terrestrial. It's going to open it up to a far broader audience than the people that will pay for a subscription service. So today, obviously, we've seen at the press conference MVP, we've seen James Gallagher, and there's some European fighters there. And what other English, British fighters are you looking to have on this card?
That's something that I would probably refer to David, but MVP cannot fight because he's fighting in our tournament. Paul Daly versus Eric Silva, I'm very excited about that fight card. Eric's got 30 fights. He's fought, all the best fighters in the world. He and Paul should be a great stylish matchup, right? And then Gegard fighting Lovato Jr. I mean, listen, this guy is a master jiu-jitsu guy. Don't underestimate him. If he gets Gegard on the ground, Gegard's going to have a hard time. And so it's going to be the striker versus the ground guy. And let's see what happens, because he's going to do his best to keep it standing and try to strike him. And he's going to try to get him on the ground as fast as he can. That fight's set. And then Gallagher versus Liviano. Look, I've seen this kid fight many times. He's going to come to fight. He's going to bring it. He had a great fight last year in Israel against Noad for us. But I've seen him fight for a long time, living in the Bay Area, and he's fought tough guys too. So, to me, it's like, he and Gallagher will be an interesting matchup, because, it's going to be two little pit bulls going at it. They're gonna bring it. So, those are the three fights that we have on the table right now. We'll have an opponent for Aaron Chalmers, soon, and then Denise as well, and then we're gonna add more. I mean, don't be surprised if Josh Barnett ends up on this card too. So, we have about 2 or 3 more fights that we have to announce, and they'll be big fights. They're not gonna be, let's say just regional fights. They'll be big fights that have international significance.
See, obviously you're talking about fights that have international significance, but bearing in mind that this is a UK card, will you be looking to showcase some of the upcoming UK talent as well?
Yes, because on the undercard will be all the new fighters, and that, when I say new, they're not so new, here, but to be on the world stage, this, like the Shipments of the world, there's a lot of talent here, and you guys know because you've been here, and we're bringing, Bellator here for that reason, and creating a localized product for the UK in your time zone, so the local fans can watch it, putting it on terrestrial television, where it's not just the hardcore fans, but it'll cross over into just the general public. to be on Sky Sports. I mean, I feel like we're on a good roll right now.
And then obviously you've got two really stacked women's divisions at 125 and 145, but you've got quite a few ladies there competing at a higher weight class, maybe out of necessity because they want to compete for such a great promotion. Are you looking to introduce a 135 or a 115 division?
You know, to be honest, I think those are the weight classes that UFC has, 135 and 115. And so, you know, those are the weight classes. We stuck to our 125 and 145. And I think it's worked out for us. And I think we'll just keep it that way for now.
Okay, so I obviously wondered because the UFC have now introduced their 125, 145 divisions. So I was wondering whether there was any plans for you to spread across those as well.
Yeah, you know what? I think that you know, we'll focus on those two weight classes, and I think you'll see even my friends over there say to me sometimes that it's hard. It's hard for them because it's such a thin division for them because a lot of the best fighters at 125 are at Bellator and the 145-pound weight class. I mean, we have Julia Budd, and we just signed up a couple fighters for her to fight, and we just renewed her contract, and so we're committed to that division.
And obviously, you've just signed Olga Rubin versus Julia Budd, I believe, for the 145 title, and that's fantastic for the women's divisions. What are you expecting from that? Because that's a very interesting matchup.
You know what? When you think about Julia Budd, I knew her when she was a kickboxer, when she was fighting in Muay Thai, and she's done such a great job transforming from a kickboxer to a world-class MMA fighter. She's a champion, but that's not an easy transition. So I think that, that fight could end up anywhere, stand up or on the ground, and I think Julia is going to have a good fight on her hands. But at the end of the day, you never know, like in a fight, what's going to happen, right? So it's going to be interesting, and I think that when you look at the history of our commitment to women's fighting, it's at the highest, point. I think that no one's made a bigger commitment to female fighting than I think than we have. And when I say we, I mean I'm talking about Strikeforce. We were the ones to first do the fights way back in the day. Gina Carano versus Cyborg was the first time female main event on major TV in the U.S. Right? Yeah. And then we went out and signed Ronda. We signed. We've made our commitment, and that commitment, because Bellator is gonna continue. And it's the same thing. We're signing girls right now. Give them another 18 months. Give them another 2 years. They're gonna develop. They're gonna blossom. Just like we've done for the guys, like James Gallagher 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Just like Aaron Pico didn't win his last fight, but we think he's going to have a great career. AJ McKee, same thing. I think we're very good at building fighters from the ground up.
Yeah, and obviously you signed some really big fights for the next few months over the last few weeks. There's some big announcements and everything else. What fight for you personally over the next few months are you most excited to see? Like, what can't you wait for?
Wow, that's a really great question. Boy, I tell you, we have so many good fights. That's a hard one. But I tell you, the stylistic matchup between Gegard and Lovato Jr. is gonna be interesting because a lot of people don't know this guy. But if you see him on the mat and what he's accomplished on the mat, it's at the world class level that very few people could get. And I tell you, if he gets Gegard on the ground, it's going to be a long day for Gegard.
It's his fourth degree black belt, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, but he's I think one of the few Americans because he lives in Oklahoma now. But he's one of the few North Americans that have won the world championships, and so it's. That makes it interesting to me because as a martial artist, it's like how's Gegard going to deal with that ground skill? And I think he knows. He knows too.
I think it's amazing though because it is a massive step up in competition for him against Mousasi. Although he's an incredibly accomplished jiu-jitsu player and he's gone 9-0 in MMA, the caliber of opponents that he's faced have been good. But this is like Hall of Fame quality.
I agree.
It's a huge step up.
But I will tell you this: all it takes is one slip. That's the thing. That's the beauty of the sport. It's very fast. It's explosive. It's raw. It takes one mistake, and then the tide can change. So that's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.